The fall back-to-school season is an exciting time of year. It's an exciting time of year, but it's a time of year that also has some safety risks. There are more pedestrians and vehicles in the downtown core, for example, than there are in the summertime. In addition, in a city like Toronto, we have many students that are starting college and university for the first time and are not familiar with the city. Having seen a lot of personal injury cases that arise from accidents occurring in the back-to-school period, I wanted to share some safety tips with you that hopefully will make this season a safe one for you and your family. The first safety tip I would have is to wear a helmet if you are cycling. I've seen many cases where a cyclist was involved in an accident and wearing a helmet, and either avoided a head injury completely or sustained only a minor head injury. Unfortunately, I've often seen the reverse as well, a cyclist who was involved in the accident and not wearing a helmet, and who sustains a significant head injury. In those types of cases, one always wonders if the cyclist could have avoided that injury completely or at least minimized it through the use of a helmet. A second safety tip I would have is to wear bright or reflective clothing if you are a pedestrian, cyclist, or jogger. I've seen many cases of serious injury involving pedestrians, joggers, and cyclists, and one of the reasons they're often seriously injured in a collision with a car is that they're vulnerable. They do not have the outer shell of a car to protect them as they would in a car-to-car collision. It's really important for these types of individuals to make themselves visible to motorists. A third safety tip I would have is to observe the rules of the road. This sounds obvious, but I've seen many cases of serious injury that result from a failure to observe these rules. For pedestrians, probably the most important thing they can do is to avoid jaywalking. For drivers, one of the most important things is to observe the speed limit and to slow down, in particular in a school zone, and to keep an eye out for students. A final safety tip I have is to avoid distractions when you're on the road. For drivers in particular, you obviously do not want to be using a cell phone while you are driving unless it's a hands-free phone. For pedestrians, I would suggest being careful about using headphones, particularly when you're walking and crossing busy city streets. Denying yourself the ability to hear what's going on around you increases the risk of an accident in my experience. Pedestrians also want to be careful to avoid the temptation of texting when they're walking and crossing busy city streets. Hopefully you enjoy the fall and the back-to-school season, and hopefully these safety tips help make it a safe season for you and your family.